Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I never even slept with her.
It's happening to men across Michigan. They are being forced to pay child support as dads by default.
Doesn't matter. If the men can prove the children are not theirs, Michigan law makes them pay anyway.
But tonight, 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell tells us that may be about to change.
Most people think you either have to adopt or conceive a baby to become legally responsible for a child. Under Michigan law, that is simply not how it works.
I was the father by default.
These 4 men came to the 7 Action News studios to raise awareness. You can become dad by default. There are a couple ways it happens. Pastor Edward Mack says his previous wife had 3 children. He left them as his own. Then he realized 2 of them were not biologically his. He must have been so heartbroken.
Kim, it was a hurting thing. I don't even really want to talk about it because it brings tears to my eyes. Sorry for getting teary-eyed.
Pastor Mack says the betrayal led to divorce. He was shocked when the judge told him because he was married, he became dad by default. He had to pay support for another man's children.
Let her pay for him. Let her get the man she laid down with to pay for him. He goes free.
I never even slept with her. I got a lawsuit when I was young, and she basically just said, that's the money I'm going to get. And she got it.
Reginald Whitlow, Anthony Sims, and Carnell Alexander have similar stories. They say women named them out of nowhere. In 2014, 7 Action News told Carnell's story and found the mother. She said she was told in order to get welfare benefits, she needed to name a father. She knew he wasn't the dad, but wrote down his name anyway.
Everything is my fault that I put him through.
Do you think that he should have to pay this money?
No, he shouldn't have to pay it at all.
Then these men missed paternity hearings because they were either sick or did not receive notice. Carnell had proof. He was in prison when a process server claimed he was served at a house in Highland Park. When they didn't show up at court, a judge ruled them dads by default. They then missed their chance to challenge it with DNA evidence by the court deadline because they couldn't find the women and children.
They wouldn't give me her address because it was confidential.
These men all eventually got DNA tests backing their stories. Too late.
Oftentimes it doesn't make a difference.
Representative Jim Runstead says those DNA tests should make a difference. The Republican from White Lake says he heard the story of Carnell Alexander on 7 Action News and decided to take action. He says this year he hopes to pass legislation that would protect men from being forced to pay for another man's children. Plus, women and process servers who lie should face stiff legal consequences.
This was wrong. Deceiving and lying and obligating people who are not supposed to be obligated to pay bills is wrong.
These men don't just want the law changed to protect others. They want compensation.
I'm getting garnished. I'm getting thrown in jail. I'm getting felony charges.
You have taken our lives. Change that law.
Representative Runstead says he has written 5 draft bills that aim to prevent such fraud, protecting both men and children. He says he plans to introduce them with.
Man. What's going on, family? This is Ty from No Picks Podcast.
What up, family? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
Joe, what's your thoughts, bro? I mean, we talked about this before, but I mean, Michigan sounds like a pretty wild state, bro.
Yeah. So I'm actually happy that we're revisiting this topic, right? Because until it changes, I feel like we have to keep talking about it. We have to keep sharing men's experiences. And given that it's an election time and everyone's talking about men checking out, men not voting, men being not, men voting a certain way or becoming more conservative, or talking about what men prioritize. These are one of the things that I feel like men prioritize, right? So my first instinct is it sucks. We know that the family court system sucks. We know that it benefits women. You know that I call women who live off child support, state-sponsored bums because they basically just don't have to work and they can just get money for these kids that a guy didn't even have or have any hand in creating. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bunch of BS. It makes me livid, right? And I have more that I want to say, right? But that's my initial thought. Like, this is BS, man. Like, we just want to keep talking about this to make sure that people are aware that this is a big issue. It's still going on, right? So where you at, bro? I'm guessing you're on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely, right. But my thing is this: the only reason it's not a bigger deal is because it is something that negatively impacts men. Mm-hmm. If it was something that negatively impact women, they would be talking about it every day. It would be on The View. It would be on CNN. Right. It would be everywhere.
Right.
Just like it was on the news. We did a pod about it once. Florida ended lifetime alimony payments. right? Then now
Yeah.
they set a limit for it. I think it's like 10 years. You can get alimony for 10 years. After that, you gotta go get a job or whatever. That was a
Yeah.
big deal. They were fighting. The women were so mad. They were like, yo. But if they did that in every state, I bet you they would fight that too. They would make sure that wasn't the case, right?
Right.
So the only reason that this is an issue is because it's something that negatively impacts men. It's like, so if a woman when you get with a chick, she gets pregnant, she has a baby, you assume it's yours, right? And hopefully it is, but on the chance that it's not, it's irrelevant to her because it's her kid. So she's like, well, I mean, like it's her. So she got that, that bond or whatever that because it comes out of her. She knows for a fact that it's her kid. Us,
Right.
we just kind of going off on faith and trust that, that is my baby. I'm the one that impregnated you at this time.
Right.
And because it's like a man problem, it's like, the world kind of just like throws their hands up when it comes to men, like, oh, well, suck it up, be a man.
Right.
And
Right.
that's my thoughts on it.
No, it sucks, right? And I'll add, so yes, you're right. It's not going to change because it's not something that negatively affects women. I agree. The second point that I'll add to that, and we've said this before, I wish I could think of the exact clause or article, but it is legally, courts are legally incentivized to make someone pay child support, and in most cases, it is the man, right? Because they basically get a cut of that, and it goes to basically their retirement. So judges, all the people who work in the courts, they are incentivized to make someone pay for child support. So they're not going to give 50-50 custody off rip, because if it makes sense that if you guys both have a child, unless there's something that's endangering the child, like maybe one parent's abusive or is a drug addict or substance abuse, if there's no reason that there shouldn't be 50-50 custody, you'd think common sense would say, all right, 50-50, you guys both get custody until something changes, right? But no, they're not going to do that. Why? Because once you give it 64, once it's partial custody for one person, automatically child support's coming. So they want to keep that money. So they're incentivized to basically make someone, and I'm going to say usually men, pay. It sucks, bro. It's going to be the man. It sucks, bro. I hate the system, bro. I hate it, bro.
This ain't even just a Michigan thing. This is also a PA thing, right? Because I got a friend of mine, older dude at my job or whatever. He's going through a divorce now, and the reason he's going through a divorce because he found out that he's also in the military. So right, so him and I shared it. He actually the one that talked me into going to the military, and he so this was whatever. But he's been in for years. He's been in for like 25 years, right? He went to Iraq. He went to all these. He was been all over. But you I don't have to tell you this, but when you get deployed, you be somewhere for like a year and a half sometimes, like at a time, right? You're away from home. Your family's getting all that money. They cashing all them checks. They chilling. They living it up because they getting all the bread from it. But you're gone, right? You're in Iraq. You're in Afghanistan. You're somewhere anywhere. You're not home. You're not in the States, right? But what he found out that basically, which is kind of common in the military, bro, you get shipped out. I get in my car, drive off to the airplane, or she drops me off at the airplane, and I go to whatever with my unit. And as soon as while I'm on that plane, some nigga pulls up, and he's staying with her for the whole year and a half.
Grimy,
right,
bro.
So
grimy,
right. And I've heard, like, bro, like, I could go on about that, but anyway, but this is what happened in his case, my friend's case or whatever. And he found out that he had 3 kids with her, right? 2 of the kids, first of all, he not sure that any of the kids are his. So but when he's going in the process of getting this divorce, they're in court or whatever, and he said, he's like, yo, I want a DNA test. He's telling the judge he wants a DNA test. The judge looks him in the face and tells him, what's the point of getting a DNA test now? You already been taking care of them for 10 years, 12 years, like the ages of the kids. He's like, what's the point now? The judge said it to him. Judge looked him in the eye, and he was like, what do you mean? I still want to know. And they're like, bro. And he found out that legally you can't just go and get a paternity test, because the reason is because they were had during the process of the marriage. So because those 2 people were married, even though she potentially had kids with other guys outside the marriage, it's assumed that he's the father, and he can't. She would have to agree for a paternity test for the kids, and of course, she's never going to agree to that. But the rules are different. If it was just his baby mom, then the court would have been like, yeah, you gotta. I mean, yeah, you cool. But because it was those kids were had during the life of the marriage, it's like, bro, like, they yours. There's nothing like you can't go get them tested. You can't test them or nothing like that.
And he's probably still paying for them now, right?
He 100%. He's still paying for
I
it. He's just
imagine.
assuming that they're his. He
Right,
just
right.
assumes.
And that sucks, bro, because think about it. Any parent, right? Usually it's going to be the man, right? But say even if it was no, it can't be the woman because the woman always
Right.
knows that she's the parent, right?
Yeah,
So this is
you know your mom.
yeah, the woman always knows she's the parent, right? So this is really
Yeah.
a male issue. Like the resentment that you might have or that starts to build when you even
Yeah.
question that any of those kids aren't yours. If one is a little bit too darker and maybe you light skinned, if none of them look like you just start getting frustrated. Like you don't look like me or your mom. You know what I mean? Like you really start building resentment, and I hate what that the kids are gonna feel that, right? I mean, if he's a decent boy, and I'm not saying he's not, he's gonna have to be like, Chuck, I gotta take this L. I'm just gonna treat him like they're mine. But like with the wrong person, bro, it can be really bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Neglect, resent, anger, like all types of stuff, bro. Like that's the dynamic it creates in that household, and that's so frustrating, man. It really, really is. But we know we've been talking about one of Kamala's biggest issues now. Not to bring, we got to make it political too, because we're in a political season right now. But like one of her biggest things right now is reproductive rights. And the shorties go so hard for reproductive rights, and they're going so hard, and she's pandering to women so hard. And it's like, well, men for the longest time, bro, because men's rights activism has been a thing for a while, the men's rights movement. We've been talking about the courts. We've been talking about custody. We've been talking about DNA testing, mandatory testing. We've been talking about all of these things, bro. And it's like it falls on deaf ears. These are things that we feel like are important. Everybody want to question like senators and want to be like, well, we're not having kids. The fertility rates are dropping around all races. Americans aren't having babies. Well, one, it's too freaking expensive. Two, there's no mandatory DNA testing, so men are now afraid that they're going to be raising a kid that's not theirs. You have no fault divorce, so people, a woman can just break up with you because she's no longer happy or she's no longer, you know what I mean? She could just dip and take half your stuff. Like there's so many reasons why people aren't having kids, and one of them is, this DNA thing, bro, not knowing if this kid's yours or not, bro. Like it's wild. It's wild, bro. It's wild, bro. It's wild. I feel like I lucked out, bro, because when I got married, my ex-wife, she already had 2 kids. And listen, family, I know y'all gonna roast me. You can roast me. I've roasted myself. I was in a different mind state. I didn't know anything. I was weak. I was like depressed. I take the L. I take full accountability and say, listen, I inherited this issue, right? She could have got me for the other 2. Now that I think about it, I think so. Well, the oldest, he already had his father in his life, and she had him on child support. So she already showed patterns that she was about. This was her game. Like this is her bag. I know, bro. I know, bro. Listen, I was dumb. I take the L, right? But she probably could have caught me for. I don't know, bro. I feel like I may have lucked out. She only got me for the one that we had together. So, damn,
but I think the other ones you would have had to adopt. Like you would have had to like legally adopt them, which is why I think I think it's crazy. I don't know why motherfuckers do that shit. Like I don't know why you legally adopt kids. Like like we living in the same crib and all that. Like we gonna live this life together. I'm not adopting a kid. Like I'm not, because what's the difference?
Right. But remember, in some states you don't even have to do that. As long as you're with that woman long enough, you automatically get put on birth certificate. Some states have it so that if you're with a chick for a certain amount of time, they'll automatically put your name on that birth certificate. And also another aspect of this that they mentioned in this video, the woman said that at the welfare office, so at county assist, they tell women you have to state somebody as the father in order to get benefits. And even if that man is not the father, they will put his name down. There's no way to vet. There's no way to look into it. There's no regulation. There's no oversight. Nothing. They just let it happen.
I know of a way to get around that. You just got to lie to chicks about your name and stuff. Like, hey, you know what I mean? My name is, Marco Rubio. You know what I mean? My name is Tom Jones.
Yes.
Just listen, fellas. Just start. You actually got the system is incentivizing lying. You got a lot of these chicks, bro. Don't tell them the truth.
Listen,
Don't tell them the truth.
We got to both who fake this death to avoid these payments, bro. Like you got to get creative. You got.
Nah, bro. About to call me. What's the dude with the red sweater that you try to find in the book?
Waldo.
Got to hit them with the red. Where's Waldo, dog? Like,
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I guess the message to the family, especially the men, like protect your seed, man. If you do, for our gentlemen who don't have kids already, just protect your seed. Be intentional about who you lay with. Know who you're laying down with.
Because it's not even about protecting your seed. Some of the people just got lied on. Like the white dude said he never had sex with the chick.
I know, bro. You know what? Damn, you damned if you do, damned if you don't, bro. The boy was like, I didn't even touch her. I didn't even have sex with her. I'm like, yo. That's a good point. But if we could at least encourage the men who are engaged, like protect your seed, man. Know that women have so many flags, as you can see when you know. Don't stick it in crazy. I always say,
Yeah.
don't stick it in crazy. You know what I mean? Like, know who you're laying with, and just know that once that child is conceived, you've lost all power, because
Right.
she can determine if that child is going to be brought into its full term, or if it's going to be deleted, and if you want it. You know what I mean? Like, she has all that leverage. So once that happens, it's a wrap, bruh. You better hope she a real one, and she's a good person, because it's too much risk. So
I'm interested to hear. Like, I would love to have a conversation about this, but I want to hear the women's perspective. I know what the men are going to say, right? Unless you just like a straight up simp and you just out here like, listen, you fathers don't matter, legacy, like unless you on that type time. First, I want to hear from you too. Yeah, those people I want to hear from. But the regular dudes that care about normal stuff, and I want to hear from the women. Like, yo, do y'all think this should be changed? Like, do y'all think this should be legal? Do y'all think that
right,
the woman or the process server, the person that lied and said that they served the person,
right,
the court papers, should they be held responsible legally and all that?
absolutely. Should
Let us
they?
know what
Like,
y'all
ladies,
think,
let us
family.
know, ladies. Please let us know. Yeah, let us know in the
Yeah,
comments. We'd love to hear from women about how you feel about all this. We really would.
yeah. All right, y'all. Till next time.
Till next time.